of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Letty. At this time, I would like to have a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes from our last meeting that was dated May 26th, 2020.
So moved.
Mark Doniker, and may I have a second?
Second.
Letty, are there any discussions, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the minutes, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. All right, motion carries. Let me see if this is Karen. Hello? Do you want to use the phone number? Okay, do you want me to resend you the link? Okay, all right. I'm sending it to your Outlook, all right? All right, there you go. See if that works. Okay. And we've just done the minute. There's a phone number that you can call in. Correct. That'll be on there as well. Correct. Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye. All right. Karen couldn't get in. I just resent her the link. All right. Mark, would you mind giving the wastewater report on behalf of Ed Charpeau?
Yeah, water and wastewater.
Yes,
Water Department, monthly report's been sent out. Annual water quality report was sent out with the last water billing. In operations, they continue checking the system for phosphates and chlorine weekly and bi-weekly. They did the Camp of the Woods monthly reading. The majority of the water meters being held at the office have been installed for the summer season. They conducted the annual cleaning of the chlorine system and include hoses replaced and recirculation pump has been replaced. They're going to look to change over to hypo within the next few months, which we all agreed upon. Big concern with billing has been corrected or tended to. A leak at 105 Ruby Lane is to be fixed shortly by an independent contractor at the homeowner's expense. The radiator and the generator at the well billing has been replaced. The other one could not be repaired. Pump number 2 control was not shutting the pump off when the tank was filled. They ran pump number 1 and everything seems to be now functioning properly. All the hydrants have been flushed with no issues. Expenditures were at Stevenson's, Charlie John's, and Gore Electric. And tomorrow they'll be installing a new service at the house next to the Village Motel. As you know, the motel and the house were sold separately. Application payment received, and they'll be putting an additional curb cock in for possible future use at the vacant lot adjacent to the property. They borrowed a machine from, I believe, Indian Lake to bore under the road so they don't have to dig up the pavement. Wastewater Department, reporting speedies and DMR has been completed for April. Drafts of the copper monitoring report and have been sent to DEC. Comments have been made. He'll write up the final draft and send it to us for prior approval in July. Operations, daily operation drop airline to grease trowel on outside plan has rotted away. It will be replaced when time allows. Everybody okay? We have taken
Karen has just joined us, I believe.
We have taken a second sample for the new speedies permit. A copper sampling study will begin July 1st. Pump station number 4, the charcoal filter has been hooked up to alleviate odors. Continue operation the outside plant at this time. The inside plant is being pumped down for replacement of diffusers, which were purchased through the upgrade project. To do continue to check stations bi-weekly, preventive maintenance on pump stations, and continue inspection of manholes. They'll add lime to the land application site. Upgrade projects, contract number 1 has been extended into July as we're waiting for the pumps to arrive. And I believe the next time we talk to Ed, we'll talk about this project instead of me just detailing this
Yep.
completely, and we'll have some information from the engineer. So I'll just leave that off, not to confuse people for later.
Yep. No, I think that's good. For those of you in this meeting, Mark and I met with Ed this morning, and we will be going over the funding, the project for the contracts, the timeline that's been proposed. And with the present contract, the pumps have been delayed. They've been coming in from France, so they should be here soon. The other thing that Mark and I discussed with Ed was the anticipated shortfall in revenues that we are expecting with Camp of the Woods being at 50% and reduced number of visitors to the village. And so far, looking at the fund balances that we have right now, we should be okay, but we'll monitor it closely, and we are looking for alternative funding if that's available. So, are there any questions anybody has on the water wastewater?
Nope.
All good? All right. Crystal O'Brien, Clerk Treasurer's report, please.
Okay, just a couple of quick things tonight. Taxes for the village have been sent out. The collection software was installed last at the beginning or the end of May, and we have been getting payments in and using the software. It's very nice and user friendly. The month of May, what has been reconciled and closed in the financial report, number 10 is ready to review at the office. I started working with Ted from Williamson Law Books today on closing the 1920 year, and with any luck, we'll be finished that hopefully by the end of the week. And then lastly, and sadly, Stacy has given her 2 weeks notice. She was offered a full-time job and has taken that offer, and Mrs. Craven has offered to come in and help in the interim.
Terrific. Well, Stacy, we would like to thank you for your work so far with the village. We certainly appreciated the way that you've stepped in and filled in, and we will certainly miss you.
Thank you. It really has been a pleasure working with everybody. So, and it was kind of a hard decision to make. So, but.
Well, if you change your mind.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. Has everyone been able to look at the abstracts that Crystal had available today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that in mind, may I have a motion to approve abstract number 24?
So moved.
Letty, second. Mark Doniker, any questions? All right, and Crystal, just a point. So this would be abstract number 24 and abstract number 1 for 2000.
Right, abstract number 24 for the 1920 year, and then just to finish that up, and then abstract 1 for the 2021 year.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that we had our numbers correct. Okay,
Yep.
So all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. All right. Motion is approved to pay the abstracts. Thank you. Moving very quickly, I hope. COVID-19 update. Yesterday, the governor had issued some additional guidance for outdoor graduation ceremonies, allowing up to 150 people to meet. That would be 50 students and 100 parents. When I asked if that would be translatable to other scenarios and group gatherings, I was told no, that we are still at the 10 people. So some things to still think about and look to. In the next couple weeks, Crystal and I and the lifeguards will be working out the guidances that are required for opening the town or the village beach. So I believe we are still on track for that. I do have the 4th of July fireworks on here again. Crystal, would you mind letting me share the screen?
Sure. All right.
Okay, so I sent this to you a little late in the day because I received it late in the day, and just want to make sure that we are on track all together. So Karen, you would have received this. You would have received this in your Outlook.
Right. Yes.
So this is a draft. It's not final. I was pushing that we wanted to see what was available so that we could make a final decision, although I think we are moving in the direction of having a fireworks display. So there's nothing in the guidance that would prohibit a delay of the firework, but I don't think that that is our desire to do that. And Hamilton County will continue to monitor public health and revise the guidance to reflect any changes. And per the governor's current executive orders, events should not be planned or coordinated that would be considered an attraction and draw in crowds. So,
what is the Ring of Fire?
Yeah, so the Ring of Fire, from what I understand, is where people around the lake build bonfires on their beaches. And so there is, quote, a ring of fire around the lake.
They do it in wells.
Ah, okay. So I understood from our last meeting that that was something that Neil was trying to organize, Neil McGovern. So that's the Ring of Fire, which is not fireworks. So I think that we meet most of them, most of these requirements. So the fireworks should not be widely advertised. We do advertise them locally, so that would be one thing. We are encouraging people to view fireworks from boats, residents, vehicles. I don't think we're going to live stream or broadcast the show. The Ring of Fire would be something that people can consider. We were planning to close the village beach and block it off to the public during these displays. So we had said that. The drive-in style parking is not encouraged due to inability to enforce social distancing, but can be utilized if it includes sponsor enforcement efforts. So when I asked what that was, it was yeah, that's what I said. What does that mean? So I was told that that relays to if you were going to a drive-in movie theater, the theater would ensure that you're parking in your spaces and that you're behaving in an appropriate manner. So, so it's very vague. So that's why I have Matt on I asked Matt to come for this portion of the meeting as well, to see if he felt comfortable with us asking the volunteer fire department to help coordinate some parking on the ball field area. Matt?
Yeah, you guys hear me?
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about that? The feasibility?
I guess I'm just trying to figure out how many cars, where are we putting it? How are we supposed to manage that? I guess is my concern. What are the size of the car? I mean, it's car parking, right?
Yeah, it's car parking.
And so what size is where are we putting it? Is it going to be all over the ball field?
Well, that was a suggestion, was to do it on the ball field and then just designate rows and ask people to park at least 6 feet between cars.
Yeah,
Now, Karen had made a comment last week that sometimes it's difficult for people to follow instructions.
very difficult.
It is very difficult to follow instructions, and the main reason, unless you have a tremendous number of people, manpower-wise, where you're basically leading that car to the exact spot that they have to park. Invariably, John Smith wants to park his car where he thinks he's going to see better than Tom Brown is going to, and he's just not going to pay attention to where you told him to park unless you physically lead him there and say, this is your parking spot. It just does, in the past, it has not worked like it does at the fair. When you go to the fair, you've got somebody who tells you what row you're going in. Then you have somebody at the end of that row who shows you your designated parking spot. If you have enough manpower, you might be able to pull it off. But if you don't have enough manpower, just judging by past experience with Dave and Chuck Smith and Bob Bankovich and Wayne Page and all the people who have helped down there, and sometimes we have 5 or 6 people down there telling these people where to park, and invariably it just, you raise up your hands and say, it doesn't work. So unless they have a good plan that they can do it better, I think it's challenging. Challenging at best.
I'll agree with Karen. I don't think we won't have a plan. I don't know if we'll have the manpower. 4th of July is tough to get guys down. It's family time. They're in, here's the thing: are we going to be a complaint department? Oh, I don't want to park here. I want to park there. That's a better spot over there. And then you've got to have your egress, and where are people going to drive out 6 feet apart? How many cars are you theoretically going to get on the ball field?
Right.
So is it worth it?
No. So then the question becomes that we don't have drive-in, which I'm fine with that as well, and then it would be a matter of leaving people to their own devices, and we would just make sure that the beach is closed, and we would let folks know through public venue that there are other viewing options available. How do people feel about that? Because that really is the only point, number 6, that we would not be able to accommodate.
Have you ever seen Route 30 during the fireworks and parade? It's crazy. They're going to be all over the place.
Yeah, the other thing you have to do, Jeanette, according to the sheriff, is something that we do every year, is that we cover the no parking signs. At the direction of the sheriff's department, they've always wanted those no parking signs on Route 30 to be covered. We would cover them with a black plastic bag or something and then take them down the next morning, just to cover the base that they are able to park along Route 30 in a no parking zone area. So we've done that every year for the parade. It works just fine. The sheriff has no problem with that. In fact, they recommend that we do that, is to cover the no parking signs as well.
So I don't have an issue with that. Does anyone have any concern about having the fireworks and not meeting these guidelines?
Yes, I do.
Yes, Mark Crary.
If you line Route 30 with cars and you have tree visibility problems, people are going to get out of their vehicles. They're going to walk up the sidewalk or down the sidewalk, and they're going to see this big open area of the ballpark.
Well,
and then you're going to have a mass gathering in the ballpark.
How are you going to keep them off of the public beach?
We would have to put up barriers, but we're not going to have police.
Well, but in today's world, I don't think those barriers are going to be very
effective.
Right.
And you'd have to have barriers at the ballpark, by the pavilion, and then at the public restroom area of the firehouse, I think.
But we are covering our base. Personal actions are their responsibility. We're covering our base so far as the guidelines go. you can't control somebody getting out of their car and standing next to their car to watch the fireworks. I think that's beyond control.
Right.
People have to have some responsibility for their own actions as well.
So just to share the fruitful discussions I've been having for the last 2 weeks on this matter, then if you cannot control people's behavior and you cannot anticipate people's behavior, then you should not be doing something that draws people to that area to misbehave.
Right.
Right, that's what the guidelines suggest.
Right.
So. And we
Right.
would be encouraging that.
Right. We would be encouraging that behavior. So at the risk of beating a dead horse and in the hopes of clinging to the last minute to see whether we can do this, I know that Crystal very kindly reached out to the fireworks department, and we can make this will be the penultimate decision, but we can make the final decision at the next meeting, because we would still be 2 weeks out before the fireworks display, and they very kindly said that we could let them know at that time. But I think any time after that, it's going to be too late.
Do you think circumstances are going to be any different by the time we get to the next meeting?
You know, Letty, if you had asked me that last meeting, I would have said, nah, probably not. But things are changing so quickly from one day to the next. I would say, yeah, we'll probably have better guidance in another 2 weeks than we have right now.
Okay.
And Bill Farber, you know, he even said, you know, these are draft guidelines for us to look at if it was feasible. And my favorite thing at the end is that, you know, it's going to change.
I say we wait until the next meeting and make a final decision.
Everyone in agreement with that?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So I hope we will have positive, you know, a positive way to go forward. I think that'd be really good for people's morale and outlook with all of this. Okay. FEMA, we are continuing to do virtual inspections. Tomorrow, the beach and the point are going to be evaluated with Lenny Crute and Roger Blanchard and myself. If anybody else would like to join us, we'll be down at the beach at 8 o'clock. There is some damage with regards to accessing the beach accessing the beach itself. Access to the sand area, the erosion there has made it difficult for anyone who is not very nimble. So we'll be discussing what can be done to improve that as well, either adding another boardwalk or something to help that access. Otherwise, I think we might be having some liability issues. Nothing further with the small cell towers, nothing further with the McComas Fire Tower. As you know, the state has put on hold any further monies being released for grants at the present time. So we did provide Mr. Valleggi the first half of his down payment. We're waiting to submit the second half of his down payment so that we can progress with that. I did get a call from Lori, I'm blanking on her last name, Lori Rankin, I think. She's with the Fire Tower Group. We had a presentation scheduled with a fire tower expert. He has canceled the rest of his meetings for the duration of the year, and we will try and reschedule that next spring. And but she's still willing to come out and give a presentation if we think that that would be helpful. So Mark, you and I had talked that perhaps the Lions might be willing to help with the fundraising for the McComas Tower, but I know that that's very up in the air.
That must have been senior, not junior.
Negative.
Oh, well, I thought it was, all right, then I take that back. Let the record reflect that that's nothing. So if we
No,
can,
but we should get a site plan how to pour the footings and stuff, so we're
Oh,
prepared.
we do have that.
You do that, have that? Okay, like, yeah.
Yes.
I'll get
We do
together.
have that, and the county and the town are willing to help us with that.
Okay,
We just need to still do some fundraising and find some willing people. So if anyone on the line knows of anyone or any group that would like to undertake that, let's put them in touch with what they need to raise. Okay. So going on with the LEDs, it was our intent to have some information before you for the LED streetlights because that's moving ahead. However, some of the information provided to us by NYPA had to be corrected. So in the interim, we are investigating some alternative sources of funding, such as today, Mark Doniker and I spoke with the USDA. They have a relatively low interest rate for a fixed period of time that might be more attractive than the NYPA financing offering. And this week, I will be calling some municipalities that have installed LEDs to see their savings, how the project progressed, how they're working with NYPA has been, and hopefully all that documentation will be provided well in advance of our next board meeting. So our new business, again, pointing to Matt, is the sale of the ladder truck. This is the old ladder truck. So as you recall, the fire department received a FEMA grant for a new Quint ladder truck. The fire department had plans to sell off 3 trucks to help offset the cost of the village. And one of those is the old ladder truck. So at this time, they're looking to have that truck designated as surplus and sell it. So if you'll recall as well, this ladder truck cannot be used for fire service, and any sale must stipulate that fact. So Mr. Marshall and I discussed the possibility of any parts that could be cannibalized for other trucks. And as it turns out, the tires on the old ladder truck are fairly new with excellent tread, and they're actually better than the rescue truck, and they're the same size. So this week, next week, they're going to be swapping out those tires for those on the rescue truck. The cost is $403, but the value of the tires are approximately $500 per tire. So it's not bad. And just for cost comparison, the front tires of the rescue truck are new and were replaced by the selling company at a cost of $637 per tire. So we'll be saving some money there and getting tires that are in better shape. And Ryan had mentioned that they're also evaluating a piece of the exhaust system on the ladder truck that may work on another vehicle that needs a little bit of help. So at this time, the fire department is looking at a minimum bid of $3,500, as this is in excess of what they would be able to get if they sold it for scrap metal. So Matt, do you recall how much it would be for scrap metal? Because the price went way, way down. I think
it was about $900 for scrap metal. If we brought that $900. If we brought the truck down to the Albany, it was $900 right now.
So that's not very exciting.
So that's not very exciting. So we're hoping a collector or something like that. We're going to put it out on auction, collectors. I'm sure we'll have interested people. So the goal is to sell it as is out the door to some sort of a collector. I know we've had a few people interested in it. So we just want to see if we can get this thing rolling out the door as soon as possible.
Okay. And you would stipulate in any materials that this could not be used for fire?
Yeah. Everyone that we have talked to already, we've said it cannot be a fire apparatus. It is an antique. It can be a tree trimming thing, but not anything for fire. So.
Does anyone have any questions for Matt?
No.
No.
My one question was where you would advertise it. I know it has to be in the paper. Ryan had said on Facebook, are there other venues that you would be able to advertise it to get a broad
There's other I don't know the websites as well. Facebook's always a good one, but there's also like fire collector sites that Ryan knows about and a few other guys know about that are strictly people that are looking for that older equipment. So
Okay.
we'll hit that too.
Okay. So then at this time, I'm looking for a motion to designate the old ladder truck as surplus and approve the auction/sale of the said truck to raise funds for the new Quint truck.
So moved.
So moved.
All right, so Mark is, makes the motion, and Karen, are you good with seconding?
Yes.
Okay, second by Karen. Any discussion? So just a caveat, Matt, that you would be able to broadcast it far and wide to get the best price.
We're not, yeah, we're going to get 3,500 out of it somehow, some way. We'll get 3,500.
Get more. All right. So all in favor of this motion, say aye.
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 All right. All opposed, say no. All right. Motion carries. Is there any other new business? Okay. No new business. Any comments for the roundtable?
No.
Letty, Karen, Mark?
I would
Nope,
just like
I'm
to,
good.
I would like to thank Stacy for all her hard work and the best of luck.
Oh, thank you very much.
Ditto.
I did that, Stacy, so you'll enjoy it.
Oh, okay.
Letty,
you,
let's
Letty.
tell about it. Great. So I had two very short things for the board roundtable. I was informed that the inspection date for the new Quint ladder truck is July 8th, and this is in advance of the date that we had been given initially. So Matt and Ryan will be headed to Ohio for that inspection. The funding request to FEMA has been submitted, correct, Crystal?
Yes.
Yeah, so Crystal has confirmed that Ryan has done that. And we just want to emphasize that we would like to not take receipt of the truck until those grant monies have been received. So Ryan has been made aware of that. And
Who pays for them to travel? Is that part of the fire department, our costs, or Matt?
That's part of the contract where the sale with the purchase of the fire truck. That's part of the agreement. That's in the sale price.
Okay. Just want to make sure you were getting paid.
Yep. Yeah, I'm getting paid a lot.
oh yeah, big bucks. Yep. So we're hoping that there are no delays in the funding request from FEMA. So according to the grant, you need to ask within 30 days of the invoice. So we're trying to match that up. And then the second point that I had was the 48th fly-in was a great success. They were the pilots were very, very happy. 10 planes were in attendance despite the sketchy weather. They came in from Long Island, Philadelphia, different parts of New York, Long Island, Rochester, and the farthest plane came in from North Carolina. So they're very excited to come back on for their 49th fly-in, which will be held next year, the first weekend in June 4th through 6th. So they wanted to extend a thanks to the board for their support for them coming in. So I was very glad for that. So I neglected to start out with public comment in the beginning, so we'll close with public comment. Are there any statements to be made?
I just wanted to thank you all for keeping the taxes flatlined, for all your hard work. I think people appreciate that in the village.
Thank you, Rebecca. Anything else? Okay, not hearing any other public comment. We'll close that portion. There's no executive session today. So, Letty?
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
All right.
I'll second that.
All right. So thank you very much. A short meeting, and next time we'll talk about the LEDs, and the week after, or the meeting after that, we'll talk about the sewer treatment plant projects.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
All right. Have a
right,
good
thank you.
evening.
All right, good night.
Right.
All right.
Good night.